I would like to lead this with a statement that I am not a very eloquent person, as much as I try to be, and I'm not nearly as outspoken as I think I should be. However, seeing all the discourse currently happening in Ocean City, my hometown where I've lived for the past 18 years of my life, I can't sit and be complacent. Kat Trout-Barron, who has essentially inspired me to create this video, I thank you, and I'm so proud of you. And Hayden Wathan, who put together the petition and has been speaking out against this, I'm very impressed and equally as proud. I am Aria Lindberg. I was a 2022 graduate of Ocean City High School and am now attending classes in University of Vermont. I didn't feel any sort of connection to my hometown necessarily. It's where I live. However, seeing that article when it first got spread online, I turned to my friends who I only made in the past month, and I was furious, and they were astonished. My time at Ocean City High School was a time, to be sure. I wasn't very outspoken about my identity or my sexuality. I, in fact, did try to hide it for a time, as it was a point in my life where I was experiencing a lot of internalized homophobia and a lot of internal struggle, in essence. I wished sometimes that I was just straight and that would be the end of it and I wouldn't have to worry about it. I would marry a man and make my parents happy and never have to come out to them. And yet I wrote a coming out letter to my mom in my freshman year of high school in one of my classes. I gave it to her when I got home and she accepted me. I took that for granted because coming out to my friends was a lot more difficult than that. Some were more supporting than others. And friends at the time did give me backlash for it. I was called slurs. I was teased and mocked and made fun of. I was considered a token gay in a group of friends. And I don't necessarily talk to those people anymore. I don't consider them my friends, but that happened in Ocean City High School and contributed to some very negative mental health problems and issues that I won't get into because that's simply unnecessary. My point then, I suppose, is that I'm not surprised, and that upsets me the most. There should not be any, really, hatred happening. This is, for lack of a better term, an attack on queer people. And I can tell you that it's definitely not something that has to happen. Coming into college was a really difficult experience for me because I was very worried about leaving everyone behind. However, something that made me feel very welcomed and made me extremely comfortable was that introducing ourselves here, we gave name, pronouns, major, and what we wanted out of college. There wasn't we have to use specific pronouns for you. It was just, those are your pronouns? All right. And you moved on. The words of the people in Ocean City speak louder than their actions, I think. I think that during my time in the high school, I heard the word administration thrown around more often than I heard actual information being passed around. The administration did this, the administration does that. But what I heard the most was that the administration was dictated by parents, by people in our town, and by outside organizations that said, this needs to be a certain way. And they listened. They listened to requests to ban very unreasonable books. And I could get so angry about this, and I have in the past, but I digress. I feel that our administration has been simply too lenient with all of the bullying going around, the lack of a JSA or sort of organization for queer people. I remember talking to an outgoing senior as I was an incoming freshman who I had known through Girl Scouting when I was young. And they told me, or I found out recently rather, that they tried starting a GSA and that the principal flat out told them no. And I watched as my peers tried to start one pretty much every year I was in the high school, all four, and equally get denied. Now we do have the Prism Club, although whether or not it's being acknowledged as a club at the high school this year and put in the yearbook is something I'm not aware of, and I sincerely hope that it does get included and that our comprehensive education gets passed and kept within our school district, especially seeing as sex education to begin with at Ocean City happened in 12th grade for me, which is reasonably and upsettingly so beyond a point of return. At that point, I'm sorry, but kids know and or experience sex long before then. I think it is time for a lot of people to step up, for a lot of people to speak out and bring this into light, I suppose. Again, not very eloquent, but I'm trying. This is something I feel I need to do because I didn't feel that I was represented nearly enough in high school. I didn't know how to feel. I wasn't told how to feel. I had to figure it out all on my own. And frankly, it was difficult. And having at least something to grasp on, some representation, some teaching in high school that applies to me would be very helpful. I think that the queer population in Ocean City High School is a lot bigger than a lot of people think. And people need to understand that there are people that exist in the high school that are not outwardly gay or identifying a certain way, showing themselves, displaying their self in a way that would be typical. And that typicality can be dangerous. People shouldn't be judged on how they dress. They shouldn't be judged on their identity at all. They should just be accepted for it. I'm really frustrated. I am. I wish that I had the speaking skills of my peers to try to give this more effort and specifics. However, I am just too fired up for that. At a certain point, something's got to give. And tell you what, queer kids aren't going anywhere. I'm sorry, but we aren't taught to be how we are. We figure it out. And if not now, then later. To say that we are dangerous, that I, a 5'2", 100-pound person, could be dangerous, I think is a little bit ridiculous. That I should groom someone, that I should assault someone, sexually abuse someone, convince someone that they are a different sexuality than they are, that can't be done. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And people will figure things out on their own. I just hope that it's through all of this discussion that we figure it out. And I hope that the Ocean City School District does better. I'm not there anymore to experience it, but I have friends that are, and I don't want to see anything bad become of them. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry that I couldn't do better justice, but please take a minute, sign the petition, send emails to our school district directors. Do what you can to keep our kids safe. Not from each other, but from people that are turning them into monsters.